Hey there, gamers. Welcome back to Banished Souls Cryptic Gaming here. So, maybe you're new to the game, maybe you've been playing the game for a while now, and you're just looking to try a new ship build. I want to talk about ship builds real quick for you. We're going to go over some of the basics. Now, when you are building a ship, the most common question is, what's the best ship in the game? Well, you're going to ask everybody, everyone's going to give you a different opinion, and most people will give you 3 or 4 opinions. Now, what do I mean by 3 or 4 opinions? Well, there's a lot of different scenarios in this game when it comes down to gameplay. So you're going to see that certain ships do certain things. So one of my favorite ships to just kind of mull around in the sea if I'm taking on convoys, especially if I'm doing it by myself, is the battle bark. It's originally just a bark, which is a healing ship, but we've turned it into a battle bark. When you come into a situation and you're going to use a ship for a purpose it's not really intended for, you have to kind of watch your balance on what you're doing. And here's why. So a battle bark, you're going to be getting those status heals. I didn't bother taking this one to a level 6. The reason I didn't upgrade to a level 6 is simply because I don't really care about the extra heals for weapons is what that stage does. But I did want the other effects for this ship to help toughen up the hull, make it a little bit more dependable here on the water. So let's go to our builder here. Actually, let's go to our chain ship. So on that ship, we used a lot of effects that has to do with uh, putting out damage. Didn't need a lot of stuff to help with the shielding. All right, with the armor and the hull and stuff like that, because it's already a pretty good boat. It's basically a restructured snow, is what it is. Now, that works for the battle bark. It does not work on something like the sandbuck, and here's why. So the sandbuck, this is pure DPS. This is what this ship is. That is what it does the best. And if you will build it to put out damage per second, talking high volumes, then you're going to have a successful build. And here is why that will not. The other method of people look at this and go, well, it's got kind of a squishy hole on it as far as the actual. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get this to bring up. It's got kind of a squishier hole than most ships. Now this one's up to level 6, so the base hull health is at 45,000 now. That is not the case when it's a level 1, unfortunately. But it can still be a little squishy on the water under certain circumstances with this ship. So, but you're going to be getting an improved turning speed when traversing the seas. You're going to be getting this firebug. So that was a deep blue perk. Then of course you're getting the firebug, which is going to reload weapons 25% faster. It's going to deal 5,000% burning damage when you apply the blaze effect to an enemy ship. Blaze will be applied to enemies within a 150-meter radius, increasing the damage to ships with the blaze effect by 50%. So, you may be looking at this, go, wow, this thing has really great perks. What I really want to do is just make it a little bit tougher. You're kind of wasting your time. There's really no way to make this ship tougher, unlike a battle bark, which already has a tough hull, so you're just bolstering weapons. This one has a weak hull, so my recommendation is don't try to make it last longer in battle based off of the hull. Try to make the battle shorter. When you deal with a DPS structure type of a character, whether it's a ship or whether you're playing Elder Scroll Online, if you want pure DPS, you want to come in and you want to deal every amount of damage available that you can build on that character. That's what you want to do, so you can come in into battles quicker, because you don't want to be stuck in a long strung out battle in a weak ship. You just don't. You're not going to be able to buff it up enough when it comes to your furnitures and stuff. So I mean, just looking at what we've got here, we've got the sticky fuel station that's going to add to the blaze effect another 10%. You know, we just read that perk off. The megaphone, it's going to help decrease reload times up to a maximum of 15%. As long as we keep putting those shots out without 10 seconds expiring, you'll hold that 15 plus the other 25 that you got, which is going to bring you up to a 40% reload time decrease. It means it's reloading that much faster. Then, of course, you have the Fontana Station. This is the rocket pod. Warhammer is what this works with, increasing the secondary damage. So we're just adding damage to everything. So demi cannon furnace, we're going to extend the range of the demi cannon, so that's going to bolster the weapons. Maintenance forge, I do recommend putting that on the ship once you get it to a level 5 where you can hold extra cargo. Dump the Ouroboros, switch to a buccaneer armor, drop you a maintenance forge into hold. That's going to, if you get sunk, rephrase that, in those occasions when you find yourself sinking to the bottom of the sea, it's going to happen, unfortunately. You don't have to return to dock to get healed. Just pull out of the combat area. You're going to charge up. It's going to fix the major damage on your hull, and then you're just going to pop a healing repair kit, and you're going your way. Then, of course, with the volatile fuel, blaze effect on enemy ships. So I have really just focused on doubling down on the blaze effect. That is basically what I'm running on this is Zama 3s, fire bombards, and of course that rocket pod. So that's how you want to build ships. Whether that ship is a sandbuck, if you're using a ship such as the new brig or the old brigantine, you want to look for things that's going to complement that. So if you watched our armor video, there is actually a piece of armor that you can build this season called the Leviathan. Now, what it does, it adds an extra percentage of armor to the ship for every knot of speed. So that could help with some of the, I wouldn't put it on a slower ship like the Sandbuck. There's just better options out there. Like the Buccaneer armor works best with the Sandbuck. For this armor would actually work way better here with the brig or brigantine. Just from what it's sounding like, the Leviathan. Now what we ended up discovering is the Ouroboros, while it had some pretty good stuff, some of it was kind of, we mostly used it so if we got sunk, you would come back and be able to fix your health. It does have a 15% damage converted into whole health, but only if you're bracing, and it's only 15% of the damage brace, or the brace damage that you take in. And then of course our brand new Leviathan armor, folks. This is the one we were telling you about. Again, I got to get 2 more Lestari skin. The Megalodon has just been like greedy on this stuff. So unfortunately, but this is going to add the hydrodynamic perk for every knot of sailing speed. You increase your armor by 1%. For those fast moving boats like this new brig and that brigantine, I would say give this a try. It's also got impenetrable armor, which reduces weapons damage by 20%. Now this isn't an armor that you're going to use to, set up inside of an area, slow down, hold for an area of effect, obviously like you would the Stormwoven Symphony. But it does have uses for those guys who like those high-paced battles out at sea. You're out, you're just, plowing 18 to 21 knots. You're using water barrels and you got a big battle going out. Well, that would be a great armor for it, because the faster you're going, the more armor it's going to be building on you as well. So that's how you want to build ships, guys. You want to look at the base stats for those ships. We can show you a few of the ships coming into the game. We had done this, kind of a loose diagram of this in another video. But basically when you're coming into this game, you're going to be picking what type of character you are. Now you're going to be able to build several in-game characters, but you're only going to have your main character to which you log into. And the way you pick your different characters is going to be inside here picking your ships. So you have different ships. You have a rammer. This is called a Badar. It's also a small class ship. You start to see some of these ships evolve into something else. So this is a maneuverable ship that can ram targets and cause flooding, has specialized DPS, damage, status effects. It says that DPS favors an aggression play style. It's going to give you 25% ramming, 50% torn sails, and flooding. What you end up seeing that convert into later is the brig. Where's she at? There she is. A brigantine. So there again, you got a swift ship that's able to ram singular targets and cause flooding damage. So you're going to be coming in, plowing out, just like you would with the Badar. The bullhorn effect is a 45% reduced duration of torn sails effect by 40%, and applies flooding to enemy ships upon ramming. So what you want to do with a ship like this when you build that is you're going to take and you're going to get furnitures to build on that ramming. So they have like ironclad that's going to give you another 15 to 20% of ramming. They've got some new furnitures coming out this season that's hidden in those convoys that's supposed to help build upon that as well. So your armor is basically going to make sure that and your furnitures, you're going to make sure that it benefits whatever the base stats of that ship is. That's the best way to build a ship. Unless you're taking a ship such as a support ship like the Bark. It's going to have specialized in aiding friendly ships, support excels in providing assistance that can turn the tide of a battle. Has revitalized, restores 0.5% of severe damage, 0.5% of hull damage per second, which is a nice perk to have. But most of what it's going to do is come up and give a boost to your repair weapons. So that's up to you if that's something you want to do, is boost your repair weapons or not. It's a really good ship as far as it's tough. I mean, it's basically a snow with a healing effect. So when you come in, you want to build your ship. Let's change over to it. We'll go back to that ship. You want to come in and build a ship around the stats that you want. So the fact that this thing already heals itself, it's got a really nice amount of hull capacity to it as well. Looking at 47,380 is what the whole health is at level 5. Brace strength 9476. Decent trim speed 17 knots, or around, average speed is around 12 kilometers, or 12 knots, sorry. Cargo space, great on cargo space. You're looking at 80,000, man. That's just insane. It's great. Stamina is 100. So when you build that ship up, you got to decide what do you want to do. Now, you can turn this into a tank and not even worry about adding any weapons damages at all. So what I've decided to use this for is a battle bark that has a capacity to do damage far off using these endless requiems to Lepicere, medium range to close range using a fire bombard 3. Then of course we've been using the Warhammer. I was playing around with LaFleur earlier doing some PvP builds and stuff. So, and those will be some things we come out with later. Show you some of those builds. We're just trying to get some of the best stuff we can. And I use that, so that works as a good medium to close range. So most weapons are long range. There's a few that's close range, but I wanted to have an area of effect pretty close by, so we went with the Stone Woven Symphony. That's the one that does that. Sonic Blast that goes 125 meters from the central radius. So very good on that. Does a great job just shattering through people's defenses. Now when it comes to furniture, I wanted to add some things that's going to help this ship to hold on in battle a little bit longer. It already does a great job, but something you can do is restore 8,000 whole health after a crew attack. Now understand, any type of a healing perk on this ship gets a 15% boost because of what it is. So you might actually get a little more than 8,000 if you've got this thing souped up to a 6. Tuning station, that's going to help with our torpedoes, bringing that up, getting our torpedo speed up as well. The campaign screens, that's going to make our hull a little bit tougher. So I'm kind of alternating back and forth with stuff here. The Fontana station is going to increase secondary damage of the rockets. Then of course our torpedo grinder, and then our torpedo works as well. So I wanted to have both up close, out far. Fire bombard does a great job either way. The rocket pod does a fantastic job as well. Then whenever you have the long distant weapons, we're going to get those rounds out there further, faster by using tuning stations. And we're going to have a little bit more hit when we come with torpedo works. And then of course we're increasing the projectile speed by 15% using a torpedo grinder as well. That's the way I try to build a battle bark, which is a healing class warrior. If you've ever done any type of games, it's not really a balanced build, but it balances out to an effect where it's actually a pretty decent ship. They will typically be pretty decent in PvP, maybe not excel in any one area, but you're going to last and stick around. But it's definitely a PvE ship, going out hitting those NPCs, man. Very good for that. So hope that this gives you some ideas on your own builds, guys. Understand, when it comes to weapons and stuff, you're building on a hull, which means unless there's a base stat that you're trying to really dig into, most of these ships are not going to have any kind of a DPS for any weapons other than the sandbug and other than that barge. And then there was of course the Padawakan. So those are actually the same style of boat coming through history is the way they've done that, which is pretty cool. You can check out that history in one of our videos as well. It features the next body style, I guess you could call the very next model of this ship that we'll see when it comes out. So it looks like it's going to have some pretty good stuff if it's historically accurate. But hope you've been having a wonderful day. I'm going to hop off here, folks.